Whoa, what a day. What a day it was. What a season it's been. It's been certainly an interesting one, no doubt about it. How is everyone doing at this present moment? We had a few hours to let this all soak in. If you haven't watched, if you've been sleeping under a rock, we have been officially relegated, straight up. No playoff, nothing like that. As a result of the loss, we needed a win today and some other cards to fall our way. We would have had those cards. We were one goal away and did not happen. And yeah, Joseph's in the chat. He's alive. Good. Glad to hear you're alive, sir. Jacob, Glück auf. Yeah. Definitely is the word of the day. Like I said, we were one goal away. We were at 2-2. We got it back. Needed a goal and we lost. And as a result of the loss, direct relegation. Stuttgart drew today, didn't help themselves. Bochum, unpredictable. Bochum won again against Leverkusen, something like 3-0. So they're safe. Stuttgart are in the playoff against either Heidenheim or Hamburg, depending on the results from tomorrow. We'll see. But as Stekarkin says, upwards and onwards. We've been there before. We can get through it again, right? Glück auf, Eric. A lot of the guys from the Discord here. It's great to see. I don't know about you guys. Before we talk about the game, I don't know about you guys. I feel better about this team going into this Zweite Liga this time than I did the last time 2 years ago. That team was a shambolic, gave no effort whatsoever. There's a reason why the Ultras went after the team in the fashion they did back then, because they put no heart. This team had all heart. We should be proud, as Matt says. We should be proud of this team. The second half of the season under Thomas Reis, this team is a top 10 team in the league. I think they're 8th best team in the league the second half of the season. Unfortunately, Frank Kramer, which we'll talk about too, I'm sure, kind of put us in a hole, right? 9 points in the first half of the season. So that kind of put us in a hole and did not work. But what a day. What a day. Eric says the likelihood of a striker getting a red card in the first 5 minutes is very slim. Yeah. We do have a better team for sure now. I agree. Does it even matter though, since we will lose most of our team? Yeah, it's a good point. Whatever players, I'm curious to see how it shakes out with the contracts and stuff. Like, who do we actually get to keep? Who are we going to lose? I don't know if Bulter's under contract. I think he is, but you would imagine he's staying in the Bundesliga, 11 goals in the Bundesliga. You imagine he'd go onto a team and try to do that again. Simon Terodde, will he try to go for another Bundesliga team? Will a Zweite Liga team come calling? We'll see. We're guaranteed to be missing a lot of bodies. How much? That's the question. Will we have a new sporting director? Right? Yeah, we've been hearing all season long that a new sporting director is going to come in June or July. So can they work the magic that Rowan Schroeder did when we were in the Zweite Liga? We'll see. But the chemistry that this team has, the cohesiveness, you imagine there should be a number of guys that will be coming back, and there's a core of belief in one another, belief in Thomas Reis and Asamoah and the rest of the management team. So there's that going. At least 2 years ago, we had none of that, right? We didn't know who the hell the manager was going to be. We didn't know what the team was going to be. The team was just gave no effort down the stretch. They were just a terrible team overall. So we'll see. We might get Cherlonov back. We might. Will he want to come to a Zweite Liga team? That's the $1 million question. We'll find out. But I don't know how long this is going to go. We're just going to rant and rave as long as we want. I guess first order of business is anyone know any Zweite Liga? Anyway, we can watch Zweite Liga for us here on this side of the pond. 2 years ago, last year, we found ways, but it wasn't always convenient. We had to rely on the Schalke stream on their actually website to listen. That was the only thing consistent. We were using OneFootball and a VPN, and it worked okay. You got probably half the games, right? Probably just as consistent as ESPN. And who knows what ESPN? Maybe ESPN will pick up more Zweite Liga games. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But if you know of any websites that'll stream those games in the Zweite Liga next year, let us know so we can share it out, because a bunch of us want to know. Reggie's in here and says, I was crushed after the match, but it's time to wipe the tears and rise again. 100%. Time to sail the high seas all the way. Going to be hard following the second league given the spotty service we get. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So we'll see. We'll do our best. If nothing else, work on your German. We'll get the German stream going on Schalke's website. So, right. Oh man. In Europe, we have a streaming service called Viaplay. Interesting. Interesting. Is that free? So we're looking for free services here. We're looking for free services. 7:30 a.m. Eastern time games are back. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Actually, a little bit better for me for streaming wise. But anyway, let's get into the freaking game that was today. What a game! I mean, we had to get a win in this one. The hope was, I guess, in a way that they would play their youngsters, and the Karkin says it's super expensive. Yeah, I don't know about that. We can get Sky Deutschland, right? And that's probably just as much, probably, I'd imagine. Yeah, Bochum is one of the most unpredictable teams. When their backs were against the wall under Pellegrino Matarazzo, they figured out a way to do it. So kudos to them. And yeah, the one bright spot of today, Dortmund did not win the title. But I guess we can't be celebrating too much because obviously our fate is even worse, I think, than theirs. But someone, I was talking to a Dortmund colleague, and he's like, "Do you believe this?" I'm like, he's like, "This is typical Dortmund, isn't it?" I'm like, yeah, like I'd probably bet 50-50 that they would have bottled it today. Maybe not in the fashion they did, but and then whatever. Yeah, I was hoping that Leipzig would start out with the youngsters, honestly, really, because they have they're in third place. They're not going to go any further down the table, not going to go higher in the table. And they got the DFB Pokal coming up against Frankfurt. And so you don't want to injure anybody, right, too? And how motivated would their players be if they did get in the game? Would they play half-assed and risk injury, right? But no, the only thing they really did, they made a couple substitutions, swapped out their goalkeeper, but they pretty much went with a pretty strong 11. Simakin, Klosterman, Orban, and Halstenberg in the back. Leimer, who scored a goal, and Haidara, who's very good. Olmo, Forsberg, Werner, and Kunku. It's a strong team they put out there. They had some guys on the bench who were just as good, but they came out with a strong team, and we had to bring it. And I think Marco Rosa said early in the week, he said, "I'm going to bring my guys. We want to keep the momentum going for the DFB Pokal." So I knew we had a tough one in store today. If you read Thomas Rice's words after, and I think I maybe have it on the screen here, that Leipzig made it difficult, right? They made it difficult. Our lineup, Fährmann, that was a boost for us. Fährmann back in goal for us. Schwoloff, what a miserable season he had this year. Last week of terrible goals that he gave up. And so we got a 2-2 result. But Fährmann back in this game, by the way, man of the match for me. I don't know about you guys, but Fährmann, man of the match. He was fantastic. Kept us in the game. The only reason when we didn't lose by any bigger score was because of him. So at least Hertha was relegated too. Yeah, that is the truth. We were all saying that if they were going to go down, at least Hertha goes down too, right? Gotta love premature. Yeah. There were celebrations going on in DC and everywhere, and I'm sure that it was terrible. Back four, Matriciani in the left, Kaminski, Van der Berg in the middle with Brunner on the right. Latza in for Kraus, who was out with a suspension or injury. I don't remember anymore. Kral alongside him. Bolter back in our lives, back in the lineup after a suspension in the previous game. So he's on the left-hand side. Drexler in the middle, Salazar on the right. And honestly, I think Salazar is more on the middle and Drexler on the right. And Polter, of course, at the top with Simon Taroda picking up his fifth yellow card of the season. So he was suspended. Maurice Jens was same situation, 5 yellow cards, and he was out. So, we went with Van der Berg and Kaminski. And, Kaminski got his second goal of the season. Timely one at that. But, the game did not start well for us. Yeah, Joseph, I'm with you. Like, seeing the guys cry, not a nice situation for us. But we needed to start off well in this game, and we did not. Right? That's one of the most upsetting things. This is a game, a must-win. Yes, I know Leipzig is a freaking good team. They're arguably a Bundesliga title contender, right? If not for the first 5 to 10 games of the season. But they, Leimer scores in the 10th minute. Nice play, I think, by Nkunku. And then Nkunku scored in the 19th minute. Wonderful work by him. Can't really fault Fährmann for either of those goals. I think the defense really let them down in the first 20 minutes or so. And really, it was all Leipzig in the first 20 minutes. I was like, what the hell is this? Come on, guys, we got to show up. That second goal kind of woke them up. And you saw Schalke pretty much being the dominant team in that second half of the first half, I should say. It started going wave after wave of pressure. You felt the goal was coming. announcers kept saying, "Oh, Schalke is terrible on set pieces. Only one corner kick goal this year." And sure enough, our first goal is off a corner kick from Rodrigo Salazar, and Kaminsky out jumping like 6 players from Leipzig to get the goal in. Got, I think, punched in the head in the process. Nice 2-1 at that point. Typical Schalke, we get that hope, right? We cling onto that hope, and we got it through Kaminsky, and we kept putting on the pressure the rest of that first half, and we nearly tied it again before halftime. But going into halftime, I felt good. It's like, okay, 2-1 is not as bad as 2-0 or 3-0. We had a chance to come back. I know the announcers were talking about a similar thing. If Schalke get another goal in the second half, it's really game on, and the momentum can swing. And sure enough, coming out the gates in the second half, we started out well again. Good pressure. Bulter, nice play where he gets a shot off, hits off the post, bounces back to Willy Orban, who tries to clear it in a typical Schalke fashion, I guess you would say. He misses up, and it goes into own goal. And so 2-2 out of nowhere, right out the gates in the second half. We were all excited at that point. It was 2-2. All the momentum's on our side at this point. You're like, we just need to go one goal. And you saw Polter throughout the game, like saying one goal, especially with the results going in the other games. Hoffenheim, they went up in their game against Stuttgart. We needed Stuttgart and Bochum to lose to be completely out of the relegation. Of course, Bochum was already up at that point. But, Stuttgart was down at that point. And Polter saying, and the boys are saying, come on, one goal is all we need. We kept getting close. Their goalkeeper Nilan made some saves in the second half. And then as the half kind of wore on, Leipzig got more and more into the game. And you saw like Fairman standing on his head. That's why I say he was man of the match for us. He was just fantastic. He really made some great saves on, Leimer, Zabalazai, and Kunku. Pretty much anyone on their team, he was making saves on. I mean, they had so many opportunities. Danny Olmo had a great opportunity as well. Fairman was simply huge in that second half, kept us in the game. And I said, if we can just get one, we had some opportunities, so close. And then, of course, late last 10 minutes of the game. So first in the Stuttgart match, they scored in the 80th minute, made it 1-1. With still, all we needed was a goal. We won. We were in the relegation playoff spot, I should say. And then 2 minutes later, Yusuf Poulsen, who came on as a substitute, he scored a goal. We were really going for broke, leaving it wide open. I think that's the one thing I noticed really in the game early on, the first 20 minutes, but also as the second half wore on, that we were wide open. We were going for broke, all chips on the table, going all in, trying to get a goal. It was a war of attrition, like Joseph said, in the second half. It absolutely was. Teams are exchanging opportunities, wide open play. I was surprised to see Leipzig so open, but it's a credit to our boys for keep pushing on in the second half. But when they went up 3-2, we're like, oh god, we need 2 goals now. How's this going to happen? And then you get 5 minutes of stoppage time. Chances are slim at that point already. And then Nkunku, who just needed 1 goal to tie Füllkrug for the league lead in goals, got his goal finally, made it 4-2, and it was all done and dusted there. Tears in the crowd, tears on the pitch, tears and for all of us. God, what a gut punch way. Let me ask you this. Well, I know the answer. The way our team played this game in the second half of the season is what we were all looking for all along, even 2 years ago. Would you have rather the way it ended this way, where we got that hope, we had that near chance, 1 goal away from a relegation spot or salvation? Or would you rather just get blown out completely and put us out of our misery? I venture to say that all you would like the result to happen the way it happened versus a blowout, because at least our boys made it a gallant effort to get a win. They were so close. God, what a just terrible way to freaking lose this game and end the season. And Rice said it in the post-match conference. We didn't lose it. We didn't lose the season because of this. We didn't get relegated because of this game. We lost because the entire season, from beginning to end, missed opportunities. Those draws that should have been wins early on in our win streak. Those poor results where we let up bad goals that we end up losing. It's the whole thing, right? And Joseph said, "Yeah, I'll take this ending, united in all Schalke spirit." I agree. And I think overall our team played fairly well. There was some gaps defensively, of course. I thought Fairman fantastic. Matriciani had some good moments pushing up. for sure. Kaminsky was decent. Vandenberg was decent. They both were kind of exposed at times. Brunner as well, but he did well for the most part. Latza, his 60 minutes or whatever he played well before he got injured, right? Crawl was all over the place offensively and defensively. Salazar was decent, 50, 60 minutes that he played. Drexler was decent. Bulter was pretty good. Polter was all right too. And substitutions came on. Owiano's okay. Katamano was okay. Tobias Moro was okay. But yeah, terrible way to lose this season. It's gut-wrenching. Now we go to this Fight Liga. And who knows what happens there, right? Who knows? Got my Angry Orchard. Gonna drink some of this tonight. What drink are you drinking tonight? You got to be drinking something tonight. I was gonna go something harder, but I wanted to make it through the end of the show, So we'll see if we do another podcast after on Monday or not. But Eric says, let's see what Eric says here. He says, honestly, based on results and all going on against us last week, the probability was very, very low at that point. Yeah. Eric even went and got a statistician to show us the probabilities on the Discord, and it wasn't good statistics for us. We did all the right things. We won the games against the teams around us. Yeah. I think the one glaring statistic, and maybe the biggest difference between us and the top teams, is we beat no teams in the top 10 or top 8, I should say. You got to at least get one of them, nick one of them, one or two. Yes, we tied Dortmund in the Riviera Derby, right? But we didn't get any other wins, and we played them fairly close for the most part. Outside of Leipzig, for the most part, definitely Bayern. And even Union Berlin a little bit, right? Those three teams really were way above us in class, but every other team in the top 10, we couldn't get a result against. That's why they're there. It's a golfing class, honestly, in terms of talent and management and all that stuff. With Thomas Rice, he did a fantastic job this season. What do we end up getting 30 points in the second half of the season or something? A wonderful job for what he had in front of him. Let's see. We had 31 points. So yeah, almost not quite 30 points. It's 22 points in the second half of the season. So yeah, I mean, he did good, and I think Thomas Rice can lead us back into the Bundesliga if we get the right personnel on the pitch. Well, that's gonna be the big key, right? Who's gonna come in as sporting director, and who the hell is our team gonna be next year? I'd like to know who's gonna stay. Kral's not gonna stay. We already know that. Looking at the lineup from today, trying to think who'd stay next year. Polter, possibly. Bulter, I doubt. Drexler, I don't know. Salazar, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Salazar's going to stay. Oyan's not going to stay, I think, for sure. Latza, probably, if we want to keep him. Kral's not. Matriciani, probably. Kaminsky, probably. Vandenberg, doubt it. Brunner, maybe. Fairman, for sure. On the bench, Oyan, like I said, he's gone. Karaman's probably gone. Tobias Moore's gone. Greimel, probably, hopefully he'll stay. Yoshida's probably gone. Schwoloff, hopefully gone. Skarka, I doubt he'll probably go back to Union. Then we got some young, Michel Frey. I don't know what's he gonna do, right? I don't know. I think he's on a loan only for us, or loan with the option to buy. We got some money from the Milik Chow deal. I think 250,000. But that's a little bit of change there. And Nicholas Toya, he's a youngster, so he's on our team no matter what. Reggie says Schalke's calendar sealed our destiny. 2 games away at Bayern and Leipzig, where matches almost out of our reach, and the draw with Frankfurt at home killed our hopes. Yeah, and there was a gauntlet. We knew the gauntlet was coming. It was we knew the calendar for the whole season, right? We knew who we ended with, and we had some games, very winnable games before that we did not take care of business, right? Yes, we beat Werder Bremen, but Freiburg, we could have done a lot better than the 4-0 result there. We beat Hertha. Hoffenheim, we should have won that game. I think that was the big one there. Augsburg as well. We should have won that game. Needed to win that game. Leverkusen, you're not going to get a result there. Dortmund, we did pretty good, 2-2 there. Union Berlin, we got a draw. Playing punching above weight. We got to win against Stuttgart. Wolfsburg, we probably could have got a win there. Gladbach, good game there. Cologne, another team, right? There's some games that we lost, but Who makes the calendars? It gives 3 worst calendar. Yeah. Yeah, you would imagine you wouldn't think I guess you would. You have to earn to stay in the Bundesliga, right? And so when the calendar makers make it hard for the new boys to come up and try to stay up, you have to earn your way. But damn, that is a difficult slate we had at the end, right? Corey says, "What's up with the academy? Other than Malik, who went to Milan? Can't remember the rest." Yeah, there's a few of them in there. I would imagine we'll see a lot more Knappenschiede players on the team next year. Marvin Pieringer, he should be coming back. We need a striker. Whether Poulter stays or goes, I don't know. But we have Marvin Pieringer. If I assume he's under contract, he scored 12 goals before his injury this year. Kind of dried up after the injury, really too. So there are some options. Some old. If you look at the Zweite Liga league leaders, a bunch of former Schalke players are in the top of the league leader list. Of course, they score goals, not for Schalke, right? They didn't even let's sprinkle them in between. But yeah, that's kind of one downside I had of the season is that we didn't had more Zweite Liga players in here, but we didn't really have room for error, right? We had to get some points, especially the second half of the season. And we had to go with our best 11 at all times, really, and we put a good stretch together, right? The team did really well to earn back the confidence of us, but fuck. Yeah. Corey says, I remember the last impact player from the youth academy. It's been a while, right? They were talking about how Danny Latz is from the Knappenschiede, Mitriciani as well. When's the last time we had a really impactful player from the Knappenschiede? It's probably Leroy Sané or Drexler, Julian Drexler. Probably the last 2 really impact players we had from the Knappenschiede. It's been a while, but the team around him hasn't been doing well, right? It's hard to flourish as a young player if you have a crap team in front of you, right? We've had really bad, prior to this year, obviously, 2 years ago we got relegated, but even like the 5 years before that, we were struggling mightily. Honestly, since Huntelaar and Raul left the first time, we kind of been on a downward trend ever since, mismanagement and all the other stuff. Kazuki is one that we have under contract. Thank you for bringing him up. I hope we keep Kazuki. I'm pretty sure we have him under contract. I don't know what he's been doing up to. Was he playing with the U23s? What has he been doing? But hopefully next year we could really use his services. Eric says that's true. The 94th minute Bochum goal changed everything. Yeah, as Eric likes to tell us, he told us in the Discord, he's like, we were in 15th place until the 94th minute, and then Bochum scored that goal and changed everything for us. But again, I'll go back to what Thomas Rice said. We didn't lose it this last couple of weeks. We lost it the entire season. Let's go to the beginning part of the season. Frank Kramer, the hiring of Frank Kramer. That set us back. Whoever you want to give the blame to on that, it was a bad signing, bad hiring. He did really bad for us, and there's always so many people you can get with the money we had, the lack of money we had, the place we were in the table, being in the Zweite Liga, coming to the Bundesliga. There's only so many managers you can get. Frank Kramer was one of them. He had just relegated his team at Bielefeld, and we got him, and it just did not work at all. Free Kazuki. I'm not going to do a new hashtag of Free Kazuki because the last time we had a free Katuchu, he left. Every time we at Schalke America support a player and go all in on them, they go. So we're gonna start supporting like Schwoloff, free Schwoloff. How about that? That's a new hashtag, free Schwoloff. And maybe we'll see him go in the next couple of days here. The last 2 world class from the Knappenschiede are retired. Ozil and Hovides. Yes. Yeah, that's true. Julian Draxler never made it world class. Leroy Sané never reached his potential as well. But Ozil and Hovides, absolutely. But the new hashtag is going to be free Schwoloff, right? But going back to Frank Kramer, he put us in the hole. Not he. The team got just put in the hole, right? What's his name? Marius Bulter, the angry tree, right? He had 11 goals this year. How many of them came in the first half of the season? Anybody know? Off the top of your head? 3 goals in the first half of the season. Nobody performed in the first half of the season. And 9 points in the first half of the season is not gonna chances are more likely than not that you're going to be relegated with 9 points in the first half of the season. Very few teams in any league have come back after 9 points in the first half of the season to stay promoted or stay in the league, in any league. So The lack of summer signings, adding depth. Granted, we had to all get like free players and stuff, right? And then Frank Kramer did not help things at all. And we were saying here on Schalke America, get rid of Kramer, get rid of Kramer. Like we saw it early on, like the team this was not playing well at all. We were not playing well defensively, did nothing well, and it kept stalling and stalling and stalling. Finally, just before the Winterpause for the World Cup, they finally let him go. What, 2 games to go, and Rice came in for the last 2 games against Bayern and someone else, Frankfurt or something like that. We played better in those 2 games too, but yeah, if Rice had not, if we had hired Rice like the rumor was initially, and I know Bolcom had something to do with that, but if we had hired Rice initially as we had hoped, maybe things changed. Maybe no, I don't know. But we were put in a hole to begin with, and then it was a long climb after that. There was no concept. 100% Eric. There was no concept. Whatever. We all saw this. Like every game, you're like, what are we trying to play here? It looks similar to the 2019 year where we were just ass, right? Terrible. And it was just frustrating. It's frustrating for sure. And they took too long with the whole Thomas Rice hiring. Also, the whole spillover with Rovin Schroeder, right? We forget about that. Rovin Schroeder, this whole debacle about the power struggle. We never got to really a full story. I'd like to hear what the full story was. I know Rovin Schroeder's not going to say anything, and Kanaba's not going to say anything, but somebody's got to know that's going to say something, right? But that kind of big gut punch for us as well. So that didn't go well. But you saw, like, we started the second half of the season very well. 8 games unbeaten. But at that point, even at 8 games, we were still like, shoot, 10 points behind like the next team above us. It was such a big deficit in that first half. It was terrible. Side note, social media guy for Schalke needs a raise. Been loving the format of the post, like the all access. Yeah, Schalke's really stepped up their game this year with the all access. I remember 2 years ago when we got relegated, all that kind of neat stuff Schalke was doing in terms of social media and all that stuff. They cut a lot of that. You have to, despite the league, you got to cut your expenses, and some of that went away, right? And some other aspects got cut that we won't get into, but hopefully the all access stuff stays, because that's been brilliant for us. It's been great to see that kind of stuff. If we can keep sliver of our momentum and morale, we're gonna crush in this fight to live. Yeah, I think with Thomas Rice and a good core of players, maybe half the players, we keep half the players, I think that's good momentum going into next year, because the cohesiveness is there. And if Fairman stays, I want Fairman to stay. He's got to hopefully start, but if nothing else, a solid backup. I don't know who we can get in this fight to Liga at this point with the lack of money that we have, but we need to have Fairman, absolutely. And some of the other key pieces, Kazuki can come back. Maybe some of the attackers, right? If we can get Cherlin off, maybe Salazar stays. I doubt it, but maybe. That would be an interesting duo there. Poulter, does he stay? Does he go? Perringer, we got Perringer, right? Who can score goals? So we'll see. But I feel more confident going into the next season than I did 2020. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, terrible year. And then a lot of teams. I kind of do want to look into social media, what they're saying, what people were saying about what was going on, in particular, like Instagram, right? So let me switch over to where I want to go here. All right, so oh no, I lost my connection. That's not good. Give me a minute. Give me a minute here. See, when you're live, anything can happen, and anything means nothing happens. Oh, why is it not working now? Huh? Come on. Oh my goodness. Well, so much for that. Well, we'll try something else then, huh? I tried. Well, I'll try to connect it here in a second. See if it connects now. There we go. I think we got it now going. All right, let's try this again. All right, here we go. We got to work it out. Hey. All right, so looking at social media here. Where's Jack? Jack is probably crying somewhere in a corner. trying to console him. It's Saturday night. Jack's, I don't know where Jack is. Jack is hurting right now. All right, as we all are. Look at social media, see what some of the posts are here. Leon Goretzka. Simo Tarota, right? Schalke Canada, our friends at Schalke Canada. Simo Tarota's gone. Danke Simon. I mean, he's been fantastic for us. He was one of the main reasons why we got promoted last year, because of the stuff he did. Seems like midfield will be gutted. Krul, Kraus, Drexler, Salas. Yeah, Kraus is gone for sure. Salas are likely as well. That's very true. But yeah, Simo Tarota is going to be missed for sure. Simo Tarota is going to be missed. Follow Schalke Design. They're put some really nice content out there. Look at all the fans are at the game. I mean, 20,000 fans showed up at the game. That's amazing. The support was there, and you saw the result. The players were all crying, but the fans standing ovation for them, as they should have gotten. The players did fantastic. That's old stuff there. I guess Thomas Rice's new job is going to be cooking a bratwurst. Schrader Becker. Union Berlin. Going to the Champions League, huh? Who would have thought that? Velton's Arena. It's going to be packed next year, right? Velton's going to be packed next year for sure. But yeah, it's just, I think this is all of us right now. Tom Kraus, right here. That's all of us right now. And we're going to lose that guy. We're going to lose Tom Kraus now. For sure. He was on loan anyway. And we could have bought him if we stayed in the Bundesliga, but can't afford him, right? And you hate to lose players that are Schalke fans, right? Tarota is. He's getting up there in age, but Kraus certainly is. Fairman talked about how Kraus always bugged him about all the, how Schalke was, back in the day when the early days of Fairman. So it's going to be missed. Frazel. Yeah. Hey, Frazel's better than Schwoloff, right? Is he? No, he's not. No, he's not. Michel Langer, though. Langer is ahead of both of them, I think. Langer is better than Frazel, better than Schwoloff, not than Fairman, obviously. Yeah. Kraus is one of the big losses for next year. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who we get next year in our lineup. I don't know what our lineup's going to look like. I don't know who our sporting director is going to be. That's going to be interesting searches. We've all heard that Peter Knabel is not going to be the one going forward. At least that's the last I heard. Anybody heard anything different? Please let me know. But who's going to come in? Has anybody heard any rumors yet? I haven't heard anything just yet. Kind of been focusing on the team, on the pitch. But yeah, whatever we do, and we gotta get some, maybe the medical team's got to get, I think, better. Find a way, not just the medical team, but the trainers and everybody, the management team. Find a way to not stress the guys until they get injured so much. We had so many injuries this year. Injuries did not help, right? That's part of what, the struggles of the first half of the season was all the injuries we had. We had a ton of injuries, shit ton of injuries. Last year was a lot better than this year for sure. 2019 also was a bad year for us in terms of injuries, but we need to do better. We got to find ways to keep the guys healthy, whether it's new age stuff, whether it's having them do yoga, eating better. I don't know, but we got to find a way to get them healthier. Maybe not stress them too much in practice with, some managers like Guardiola, they will push their players in practice, but then there's also times where they kind of do lighter practice and do less strenuous work, and maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not there behind the scenes. I'm not at the practices. Some of you guys are, right? Our friend Schalke Corner, he is for sure. Maybe we'll talk to him and see what he's seen on the sidelines. But in the Zweite Liga, hopefully we'll get more wins. I think we'll definitely get more wins in the Zweite Liga, assuming we get a worthy team, I guess, right? I think we will. And we have Thomas Rice, so I believe we will. Feeling slightly optimistic. I certainly am. Joseph's missing Kraus, for sure. We're going to miss some big guys who did well. And all those guys, I think, deserve an applause for the hard work they had this season. It's just, man. Going back to the Super League, right? A lot of good teams still there. Kaiserslautern are there, I think, right, too. I think Kaiserslautern are in the Zweite Liga now, too, or maybe they're getting relegated. Let me put you the list of teams we are going to be facing next year. So Darmstadt, they're promoted. Heidenheim or Hamburg, two of those teams are going to get promoted. One of the two teams are going to promote, I should say. The other one will be in a relegation playoff spot. St. Pauli, they started off really well this year, and again, like last year, they dropped off at the end. So St. Pauli will be there next year. Paderborn will be there. Fortuna Düsseldorf, Karlsruhe, Kaiserslautern, they finished 8th this year. Hannover, 96. Holstein Kiel, Magdeburg, right? I don't know if they still have the money that they had a couple years ago. There's a few years ago, they had a lot of injection of money. They did really well. They got promoted really quickly. Greuther Fürth, Hansa Rostock, Eintracht Braunschweig, Nuremberg, our friends there. Sandhausen's getting relegated. They play one of the two teams. I think they play Hamburg tomorrow, so we'll see. Maybe Frikatucci movement gets a goal at the end of the game and knocks Hamburg into the relegation playoff spot. We'll see. And Jan Regensburg is the other team that's playing Heidenheim. So that's interesting. Heidenheim and Hamburg, 2 and 3, are playing against the two worst teams in the league, Regensburg and Sandhausen. You imagine there's going to be at least one upset. You'd think both teams will win, but you would imagine there could be an upset in there. Maybe it's a Frikatucci movement, right? But if both teams win, if Hamburg and Heidenheim win, Heidenheim is automatically automatically promoted. Hamburg would face Stuttgart in the playoff match, but we'll see. Arminia Bielefeld are in the relegation playoff spot in the Zweite Liga at the moment. They're 2 points behind Nuremberg, so curious who plays tomorrow. So let's see. Nuremberg play Paderborn, and then Arminia Bielefeld plays Magdeburg. So they got both tough matches there. So it's gonna be a tough league. It's a super league. Dresden got relegated, I think, the year before. Pretty sure last year they got relegated or promoted. Maybe they're coming up. I don't know. I gotta look at the Zweite Liga, see who's coming up. Top goal scorers this year in the Zweite Liga: Heidenheim's Kleindienst, 24 goals. He's gonna get promoted. Glatzel for Hamburg, 19. Steve Skripski, remember him? Holstein Kiel, 15 goals. We'll see him next year. Cedric Teukert, remember him? Hannover 96, 14 goals. Boyd from the U.S. for Kaiserslautern, 13 goals. Who else in here? Tietz is still with Darmstadt. He's getting promoted. Who else is here that? Yeah, that's it, I guess. But let's see. Let's if I can find the Zweite Liga here real quick. Domestic, Germany. I can just pull this up here. Why don't I just do that? All right, here. So you guys can follow along with me, see what I'm doing here. All right. Dritte Liga here, table. All right. So Elversberg's getting promoted. Onzerbruck's getting promoted. Freiburg 2 cannot get promoted. So Wiesbaden could get promoted. They might be in the relegation playoff spot against Bielefeld if Bielefeld remain in their position after the game there. Dynamo Dresden, there they are. 69 points. There's a chance, I guess, that they could. Look how tight that is, too. Like, first place is 74 points, and 6th place in Dynamo Dresden, 69 points. I mean, who's playing? Oh, they already played their games, huh? So that's it. They're done. So that's it. So Elversberg gets promoted. Osnabrück gets promoted. And then Wiesbaden will play likely Arminia Bielefeld unless some crazy results happen tomorrow. Yeah. Fortuna Düsseldorf is in the Zweite Liga, Joseph. Arminia going for a double relegation. Yeah, that would be something. Is Kramer there again? Huh? You wonder. But yeah, Wiesbaden against possibly against Arminia Bielefeld, right? So Bielefeld's in 16th position right now. And Joseph, since you asked, where are they? Fortuna Düsseldorf, 6th place. So they had a good season, right? So there's going to be some good teams next year. Düsseldorf are tied for 6th. There you go, Matt, as Matt says too, right? So there's some good teams. We're going to be in a top 6 fight for sure. And there's the same teams we saw last year. So, or 2 years. Yeah, it was last year, wasn't it? I can't remember anymore. It was last year. It seems like forever ago, but yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. Zweite Liga is super entertaining league. But it's going to be difficult, and we don't have a full team. That's going to be key. Maybe we just take players from the Knappenschmiede, right, to fill out the rest of the roster. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've been on 15 minutes already, apparently. Anything anybody want to talk about tonight before we wrap this up? Time just flies when you're ranting and crying. Time is weird with relegation trips, man. Yeah, it is. I can't keep track. But yeah, like I said, we got a lot to figure out between now and the beginning of the Zweite Liga, which, by the way, if you don't remember from the last time we were in Zweite Liga starts in July, right? I think it's mid-July. William was watching a TFC match against my DC United, right? Yeah, Zweite Liga starts in mid-July. I think last time it started July 19, something like that. So our break's going to be shorter now. I was on vacation when this started. I was like, oh, whoa, what is going on here? Bundesliga starts, mid to late August. Zweite Liga starts in July because I think there's a few more games or whatever. But whatever reason it is, they do it. So be prepared for that, everybody. Your summer break's going to be shorter. And all of our main objective is to find a solid stream for free or cheap, right? One football. Okay, it's fun. $5 per game is not bad, actually. $4 or $5 per game, but it's so unreliable. I mean, how many of our live streams last year this fell through because we couldn't connect, right? So if you know of any cheap or free streams in the Zweite Liga, let us know. We'll share it to everybody, VPN or not. We have a VPN. July 28th, says Eric, for the Zweite Liga to begin. So. But we don't have money. We don't. We're better now than we were 2 years ago, right? We're much better. We're more capable now in the Zweite Liga than we were 2 years ago. So there's that. And there's a little bit of money, little bit. We don't need it for a manager because we got Thomas Rice. But we do have several players we need to fill. We don't have Roven Schroeder to wheel and deal and find us those fantastic free players. Maybe Thomas Oyan will do well in the Zweite Liga, but he's not going to be with us next year. He already said if we get relegated, I'm not staying. And he didn't have a good season with us, so it's time to move on, maybe, I guess, right? But yes, Joseph, we just start early. July 28th. Put it on your calendar. It's early. So yeah, I think that's going to be the big storyline outside of Schalke is Hertha Berlin. They need to get a license, and there's a chance they could get relegated further as a result of not being able to get a license to the Regional Liga. So watch out for that because it's interesting. They're like worse than we were 2 years ago in terms of money and all that kind of stuff. We had a license. They can't get it at the moment. Rumor is that they're gonna get it and they're gonna be in the Zweite Liga, but anything can happen, right? So we'll see. Who would have thought in this day and age Hertha Berlin is getting relegated and Union Berlin is in the Champions League, right? Union Berlin's a well-run club. Hertha Berlin is obviously not. With all the money they had and wasted. God, they wasted money there. Jesus. They're going to be offloaded. They might have some. Well, they won't have any money. They're in debt. So. All right. Well, this is fun. Any other last takers? Anything you want to talk about Schalke related? No Jack tonight. We'll contemplate whether we do a season. I guess we'll do a season review, right? We have to, right? We'll see. We'll get back to you on that. Follow us on, obviously, if you're in the Discord, follow us there. Maybe I show Discord here for those who don't see it. But you should definitely join our Discord. What am I doing here? Amateur hour here. Discord. Let's go Discord here. There we go. There's Discord. See so join our Discord. We just have chats, go through all the games. It's fun. You should join. Links will be available on Twitter. We'll share them out with everybody. If you follow the podcast, look for those tweets and links. We're gonna send them all and share it your way. So, Suat Serdar. Yeah, he got relegated too, right? Again. See, Joseph says, join the Discord. Do it. It's a good time. We talk about a lot of stuff, even some stuff that's not quite Schalke sometimes, but most part Schalke. It's a really great group. And if you speak German, join Schalke Corners, their Discord as well. Some really great stuff. A lot more people there. Ours is just growing. They got a head start on us, but good conversations over there. Good people over there too. Really great group that lead it over there too, especially with Cedric Zalmat over there. So follow Schalke Corner and them as well. So William says, hopefully we're done building a squad with loan players. We need to do this right. I don't know if we have look at my face, double looking at my face there. I don't know if we have money to build a squad the right way. We'll see. I think we're better situation than we were last time, but we'll see. Canabo seemed to do well in the winter window. He's definitely not going to be sporting director. That's what I heard. Maybe Eric or Jacob or Stekaran or somebody else got a better idea. But last I heard with Canabo, he was not going to stay on as sporting director. And I agree, he did very well. But I heard that he was not staying on as sporting director or going to stay as sporting director. He's going to keep his other role, previous role, and they're going to bring in someone new. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if he wants it or not. So we will see. All right. Well, I think I had enough ranting and raving tonight. I probably should go back, join the missus upstairs, right? So I don't get my own timeout. Maybe I don't get relegated too, right? All right. Well, we are still Schalke fans. No matter the result, right? Win, lose, or draw, we're all the Schalke fans. So hope everyone recovers nicely. Have a good summer. Your short summer. Remember, July 28th is the first game. The Zweite Liga kicks off. So, all right, everyone, go Heidenheim. Yeah. Hey, Frank Schmidt. I'm a big fan of Frank Schmidt. There was real quick before I leave. There is a German documentary about it's called Trainers, and it has Frank Schmidt. Oh my God, Sandro Wagner and Nico Schultz. I think Nico Schultz. The three managers they follow. Frank Schmidt is fantastic. I am a big fan of Frank Schmidt. He's been with Heidenheim for like 47 years. No, he's been there for a long time. And he's brought them up. He's never left. He's been tempted to go to the place, but he hasn't left. And now he might get them in the Bundesliga. That is a story worth listening to and watching. So, look out to Heidenheim. And real quick, last thing. I swear this is the last thing. Who you got in the relegation playoff spot? If it's, let's say it's Hamburg for now, right? So let's say results don't change. Hamburg versus Stuttgart. Who do you got? Do you want to see Hamburg come back to the big league, or do you want to see Stuttgart remain in the big league? I'll tell you my thoughts. God, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. I kind of enjoy watching Hamburg struggle, but they are one of the great Bundesliga teams like Schalke, right? And Kaiserslautern. You kind of want to see them back in the Bundesliga, but at the expense of Stuttgart. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn. What do you guys say? Do you want to see Stuttgart or do you want to see Hamburg? Let's see. Joseph says Hamburg. Let's go Hamburg. William says Hamburg. Corey says Hamburg. Eric says Stuttgart will take them out solidly. Yeah, I think so. Hamburg is a good team, but I think Stuttgart, when they rise to the occasion, we saw this at the end of the season. Why they made it so difficult for us is Stuttgart came to play not as unpredictable as Bochum, but they're a solid team, like backs against the walls. They needed a goal today, and they got a goal. So Matt says, I don't care about either one. Yeah, let them both get relegated, right? Edwin says Stuttgart as well. It's better to know there's a team at Model X. That's true. Yeah, if Hamburg goes up, who knows? They may do really well, right? Like Union Berlin, they rose really quickly from Zweite Liga to Bundesliga. So, all right. I'm done ranting and raving and crying and complaining and whatever and all that stuff. As I was saying, 4D chess by Edwin, 100%. As I said, enjoy your summer, your shortened summer break. We got 2 months and 1 day till the Zweite Liga starts. So enjoy it. Spend your time with your family. Follow up on the news. We'll try to keep up with as much as the news as possible, both the team, the turn 11 team, or the team on the pitch, and then also the stuff behind the scenes. Do we get a new sporting director? What else is going on in Schalke? We'll try to keep up with that as much as we can. So follow Schalke America. If you haven't done so yet, go on our YouTube page, go to schalkeamerica.com, join our Discord channel for sure, and follow us on all across social media. We'll try to be a lot more active this summer now that we don't got podcasts to go. Once the podcast stop, we'll stop until the season starts again. So, yeah, it's been fun. for all you guys who've been following us during the watch-alongs, the podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, everything. Thank you to all you guys. It's been a heck of a season. We rode through the ups and downs, and we're all going down together. So enjoy the summer. Be well. Stay safe, and we'll catch you in July. Glück auf.